Hey, Zayden, I just wanted to make a little bit of a quick comment, hopefully. Now, these can get sometimes. But I wanted to make a quick point in regards to your video response to Zoe uh, and his I'm voting for McCain Palin ticket. Um, I understand what you're saying. I a little bit respectfully disagree with you, and this is the reason why. That's what I'm going to try to explain here in a very short period of time. Today's conservative Republican, I hear a lot of my friends who claim to be conservative Republicans, much like yourself, who keep saying that this guy over here is not a conservative Republican or this guy over here is not a conservative Republican, and the truth of the matter is that we're stuck out on the fringes. We're not looking at core values because across the board we have the old Republicans over here, we have the new philosophical ideologies over here, supposedly we're miles apart when in essence we're really not. If we did the true litmus test of the base core value systems of what makes a conservative republic, we're still spot on. We're still right on target. The problem is that now people have refused to vote for people based upon one or two simple little points that they disagree with, and that's where the Conservative Party has spun off to oblivion. Quite honestly, and it doesn't seem like we have a way back yet, and that's why I'm trying to make this video, because I think our biggest problem that we have right now is we need to get back on track. And how do we get back on track? Well, the first thing that we do is we stop saying that person's not a conservative Republican. That person's not a conservative Republican because they did this or they voted that way. You know what? From time to time, people are not going to vote the way we want them to vote. What we need to do is we need to do litmus tests across the board, and that's how we need to determine that. And then, as a conservative Republican myself, we need to have debate forums. We need to sit down and ask ourselves, what is a conservative Republican in 2008? What philosophies do we have today? What are the new world order things that we need to be paying attention to? What are the things that's going to cause us to be the weakest party if we're not careful? We need to make sure that we start conforming these things, and that's the problem that the Republican Party has right now. I'm a huge Newt Gingrich fan, and I think Newt Gingrich has got the right idea. He's really trying to grab the base from underneath and keep away from the fringes and push people forward, just looking at some of the base core issues of what makes us a conservative Republican. So I think a lot of people need to give that consideration. I think the biggest problem that we have right now is we have an onslaught of barrages that are coming at us, and I think that people just don't get this. But the Republican Party has been just landblasted by the Democratic Party. These people a long time ago, they started trickling into media. They started trickling into the journalist area. They started trickling into, online websites and calling themselves, they were rogues. They were calling themselves true, equal, fair and balanced and all this stuff, when in essence they weren't. They were actually had an agenda. The Democratic Party has had an agenda since Ronald Reagan, to put themselves back together, and they've tried very hard to achieve that, and unfortunately they've been successful. The Republican Party has been asleep at the wheel. But my biggest disagreement is also where you're saying that President Bush did not try to do anything on the pro-life movement. He most certainly did. I think a lot of people just don't get a chance to really watch the House and Senate committees on TV like I do. There's been many times that President Bush has made an attempt to do that. One of the more finer areas where he was successful in is actually in his nominees as some of the judges. We're one judge short of maybe being able to turn over Roe versus Wade. So the point is that yes, he most certainly did try to make an effort. The reason why he didn't make probably the strongest effort that you thought that he should make was because of the simple fact that we had a very weak, and very pathetic group of Republicans in the House and the Senate while we were in power. They didn't do one single thing while we put them in power. Not one single thing did they do for us, and that's the biggest problem that we have right now, and that's where a lot of my anger is. And the thing that I always make sure that I tell people is stop blaming Bush for everything. We got the Democratic Party to do that. We know that the reason why they had typhoons on the other side of the earth is because of Bush. We know that the reason why there was a Cosmo Nova 3 million years ago that just now reached the United States of America, where we could see it as a light 5 weeks ago. We know that was also President Bush's fault. Okay, the Democrats have told us was so. So we need to get beyond this blaming Bush thing because that's their doctrine, it's not ours. The problem is that we need to look at a deeper core foundation. Our problem is that we've allowed people to slip into our fold that don't belong in our fold because we don't have a solid organization. What do I mean by that? We have people both in the House and the Senate that claim to be Republicans. We know they are not Republicans. They are anything but Republicans. They vote more liberal than some of the liberals do. So we know that we've got foxes in sheep's clothing, and so we've got to be very careful how we approach this. But half the reason why that's been allowed is because of the simple fact that we do not have a standard. We do not have a core belief system, and until Republicans can get back into that fold, we're going to have a problem. So my video response to you is not necessarily so much a rebuttal towards what you said, but just a refinement that says, hey, there is conservative Republicans. The problem is that we need to define what that is, and that's what the true problem is. And the sooner we refine that, I think the better off we'll all be. Nice to meet you, Zayden.